Good evening to all of our participants. Thank you so much for joining us. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to today's webinar on the Sustainable Energy Marketplace. My name is Alberto Bernardini and I work at the Knowledge Policy and Finance Center here at IRENA. And I've recently been involved in the creation of this new tool that will be shortly introduced by Wim Jonker-Klunne and by my colleague Alexi Lumi-Jarvi. We will first have a short introduction to IRENA and some technical tips for this webinar, followed by an introduction and EEP update by Wim Jonker-Klunne, Program Director at the Energy and the Environment Partnership. And then we will have the presentation of Sustainable Energy Marketplace by Alexi Lumi-Jarvi. Finally, a short Q&A session. So for those of you not familiar with IRENA, we are an intergovernmental organization that supports countries in their transition to a sustainable energy future. We promote the widespread adoption and sustainable use of all forms of renewable energy, including bioenergy, geothermal, hydropower, ocean, solar, and wind energy, in the pursuit of sustainable development, energy security, and a stable climate. IRENA serves as a network hub, an advisory resource, and an authoritative, unified global voice for renewable energy. IRENA has 143 members and 29 states in the process of becoming members. For today's webinar, we have two options for listening in. You may connect by computer by selecting mic and speakers, or by phone by selecting the telephone option in the right-hand panel. If you should face any technical difficulties during the webinar, please contact the GoToWebinar help desk at the number provided on your screen. I would like to encourage everyone to participate in today's session by asking questions. To do so, simply select the questions panel in the right-hand bar and enter your question with a note of who you would like the question directed to. We will be collecting questions throughout the webinar. If you would like to watch this webinar again or share it with a friend, we'll have a full recording available on the IRL website as well as on the IRENA YouTube channel. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce Mr. Jonker-Klunne.
Thank you very much. My name is Wim Jonker-Klunne, the Program Director for the Energy and Environment Partnership Program. And I would like to introduce the program to you. The Energy and Environment Partnership Program is a grant-supported program that provides funding for renewable energy and energy efficiency projects. We are funded by the governments of Finland, the UK, and Austria, and the program in the current phase is implemented by KPMG. Through calls for proposals and full proposals, we have been able to support roughly 200 projects in Southern and East Africa that all provide renewable energy or energy efficiency with a specific attention to poverty reduction. On the screen you can see how our portfolio is built up. This is an indication of where you find our projects. In each of the 13 countries of the program, we do have at least one, but in several countries, many more projects. The projects range from wave energy, biogas, to solar PV projects. And we have provided funding to this whole range of different types of projects. And with those projects, we have results so far of 53,000 households that have benefited from improved access to sustainable energy through the project. And we have a combined annual carbon dioxide emission reductions of the 61 completed projects. So that's not the full portfolio, but only the projects that are currently completed, of 26,000 tons. We also did, through our energy efficiency projects, save an estimated 27,000 megawatt hours of electricity. And because we have a lot of solar PV small-scale projects, the installed capacity of the project is only 0.5 megawatt. We have allocated all the available funding to projects, so we're currently shifting from selecting those projects for funding to really managing our portfolio and do a proper monitoring and evaluation of the project, just to really understand the impact the projects make on the continent, on the livelihood of the final beneficiaries. Linked to that, we really want to look into knowledge management. What can we learn from the current projects we're implementing? What can projects within our portfolio learn from each other? Also, what is happening outside our portfolio, and how can we make sure that those lessons will be made available to our project developers, and hopefully other projects can learn from what our projects have been encountering. So we're really going to look into identifying lessons learned and also disseminating that information. Part of that we do through collaboration with other initiatives, and our collaboration with IRENA is one of those initiatives, and we're really very glad that we are able to work together with them. And particularly this marketplace tool we see as a very good tool for our project developers to see where they can access additional finance for upscale, because the Energy and Environment Partnership Program has provided funding to individual projects up to a certain stage, and we really hope that through that process they have been able to get that capacity to upscale to larger scale, and we really hope that linking up with the IRENA and the marketplace, some of those projects were able to make that next step. So with that short introduction, I would leave the floor to IRENA to really explain what this forum, this platform is about and how projects can benefit from that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Wim. Thank you, Wim, for your introduction. And good afternoon on my behalf as well. My name is Aleksi Lumijärvi. I work at IRENA and it's in its renewable energy finance team. Our team has been busy this year in implementing, among other things, this sustainable energy marketplace, which I'm now going to introduce to you. First by showing a brief presentation, followed by an online demo. I will show how the marketplace really looks like and also show the main functionalities of it. But first to the presentation and the concept of the marketplace. The objective of the marketplace is to support the initiation, development and financing of sustainable energy projects. Initially, right now, the marketplace is available in Eastern and Southern African countries, as you can see on the map on this slide. On the other hand, within 1 month, it should be available for all African countries and also Latin America and Caribbean. But as I mentioned, right now, if you go and see, and as we will do in a minute, it will be open only for projects in the region that you will see in the map, on the map on the right-hand side. We will also add energy efficiency projects later this year, so that not only renewable energy projects but also energy efficiency projects can register to the marketplace. That's why we call it sustainable energy marketplace, more broadly than renewable energy only. How does this marketplace then promote initiation, development and financing of sustainable energy projects? So it has 3 main approaches or components. First, it aims at improving the transparency of the market by offering an online platform like a search engine, which I will show you soon. Secondly, it will offer IRENA's existing tools and databases for market players. IRENA has launched closer to 20 different portals so far, and many of these are pretty useful for project developers and investors. So selected portals of IRENA will be offered in a tailor-made way through the marketplace. Thirdly, IRENA, together with its partners, of which EEP is one, IRENA is going to support projects hands-on by providing facilitation services for project developers. I will now go through all these three approaches and components one by one briefly. So first, as I mentioned, the core of the marketplace will be an online portal, a search engine basically. You have probably all used different types of online marketplaces when looking for apartments, buying or selling cars, etc. So basically, this is a same kind of a concept. Those who have something to offer will enter the marketplace, enter their information in a structured way, and then those who are looking for something will log into the marketplace and they can search whatever they want according to a specific investment criteria or other criteria that they may have. For example, investors may search for projects according to their investment criteria, and project developers may look for financing according to their specific topical needs. So we have these, let's say, three main or four main market player groups. Firstly, we have project owners or developers with their projects who can register. We have here in the bottom, we have investors, financiers who can register and who can register their investment financing instruments. And then on the left-hand side, we have service providers, but also technology providers who can register to this marketplace. And all of them can become visible, but also look for others and whatever they need and are looking for in the marketplace. Governments in the right-hand side will also have their role, but I will not address that in more detail as we are concentrating more in the market players in this webinar. So after the users have entered their information in structured format, then basically you can arrive in the main page, as you can see here in the middle. You can log in. You can, for example, go to project search or financing instrument search, as you can see on the right-hand side. Put in your specific search criteria, and then, as you can see on the left-hand side, for example, if you're looking for projects, you will see this kind of project profiles of each project generated by the system based on the information submitted by the project developers, project owners by themselves. But I will show this online portal and this search engine after the presentation in more detail. Secondly, as I said, IRENA offers some of its most useful tools for project developers through this marketplace, through a tailor-made interface for developers and investors. Firstly, IRENA hosts perhaps the most comprehensive renewable energy database in the world called Resource, and I think it's very useful for you to go and see that database in general, but also this marketplace will contain a tailor-made interface for you to utilize it in an easily accessible way. Secondly, and I will show that as well soon. Secondly, we will have a global atlas, which you also will see soon in a minute. Global atlas will it's based on GIS system. It's based on maps basically, and it's a kind of a multi-layer map. You can, for example, look at a specific country or region and see where there are best solar resources or wind resources to locate good places for project development, good sites, potential sites. You can also add a layer showing where the grids are located in that country or region. You can also add a layer showing where are the existing power plants, load centers, population densities, etc. You can also add a layer showing where you have protected areas where you basically cannot develop a project, etc. Lots of different layers you can use to see and identify good locations for your projects. Thirdly, in these country interfaces that we have in the system, we offer IEA and IRENA policies and measures database, which is again probably one of the most comprehensive data sets of policies and incentives for renewable energy in the world. Through this interface you can easily see, for example, all the applicable current valid laws and regulations in a country related to renewable energy. I will show how it works again after this presentation during the online demo. Fourthly, a bit different portal, Project Navigator, is a tool for project developers specifically, containing tools, templates, information to help projects in developing higher quality projects and also higher quality documentation. So it's kind of a step-by-step tool that we encourage all, especially earlier stage project developers, to utilize when developing their projects and bringing them to IRENA's sustainable energy marketplace. Thirdly, as mentioned, IRENA, together with its partners, is going to provide online hands-on facilitation for projects and project developers in the marketplace. So first of all, when projects and users in general, also investors and service and technology providers are registering, they will be required to fill in a registration form, which I will show you soon. IRENA will check that information before the user is granted an access to the marketplace. So that's a pre-screening by IRENA. Once that pre-screening is done and IRENA considers the entrant to be eligible and valid, the user will be allowed to enter the marketplace and become visible to other users, and also be able to screen other users in the marketplace according to their specific interests. Then for selected projects in the marketplace, we will carry out project assessments or investment readiness assessments together with private sector advisors we are cooperating with. And depending on their topical needs, we will then provide more concrete support, hands-on support. For example, by providing financial advisors or other types of advisors depending on the specific needs of the project, or helping them to identify and apply for project development funding, etc. For projects that are investment ready, like close to bankability, we will help them to connect with investors, so we can use our visibility and our networks to help project developers to make relevant contacts in the market. Finally, in addition to project facilitation, hands-on facilitation, we will arrange webinars and events on specific topical areas. And also we are going to provide new content and functionalities through the marketplace on top of the ones that we already offer at the moment. Then there is a question how to prioritize these facilitation activities. So IRENA may not be the best organization to know which projects are good and bad. Therefore, we really try to activate the investors and advisors, consultants and others in the marketplace to work with us, to screen projects and indicate to us which projects they may be interested in. Then projects that are receiving more attention will then probably have higher likelihood of getting supported by IRENA and its partners in the marketplace. Secondly, we are not able to track individual users' activity, of course, in the marketplace, but we are able to see some statistics, for example, how many times different profiles have been viewed in the marketplace, and what the users are doing basically in the marketplace. And based on that information, again, if we see, for example, several investors looking at a single project or single country information, etc., then we can start perhaps facilitating more these kind of projects, or for example, organize webinars on the countries and their markets and regulations that seem to be of interest for the market players. And then thirdly, we are planning to carry out the surveys on a very selective basis, like once or twice a year, to really ask from you, hopefully users of this marketplace, what do you want us to do for you? How this marketplace should work in order to help support you in your businesses. So we try to create a really interactive, online, lively marketplace for you to join and regularly use. So the marketplace can be found in the following web address, irena.org/marketplace. You can go there immediately if you like and see how it works, or perhaps after this this webinar, hopefully, because I'm now going to show you an online demo and show the main features of the marketplace. If you want to have more information on this marketplace after the webinar, so you may contact me or my colleague Alberto Bernardini through the emails you see here on the bottom of the slide. Okay, but let's go to the marketplace. So what you will see now is the landing page or the main page of the Sustainable Energy Marketplace of IRENA. You see some specific sections here. On the left-hand side, you will see the navigation panel, having the home button, having about section or information about Sustainable Energy Marketplace, information about IRENA, and also about our partners. Once we launch and announce more information on our partners, you will find information on how users can benefit from the marketplace, etc. But in order to access the marketplace itself, you need to create your own profile and really get registered. So if you try to open this, so you are not allowed. On the right-hand side, you will see a news section. So here we have linked close to 80 different magazines, online magazines and newspapers in this field. And every time there is an article on renewable energy linked to any of these countries, any African countries, that piece of news will be listed in this news feed. So you can easily click on the most recent news here, or you can click here and see all the news, like 80 most recent. It will take you back like 1 month time, and you can just easily click and see in more detail. Something about Kenya here. So it's the World Post is writing something about renewable energy, basically cooking stuffs in Kenya. Also, we collect information on events in events calendar, which is also accessible for anyone, as the news section as well, even for people who are not registered. So here you can see more information on different relevant events in the region or somehow linked to the region. And here you can open the events calendar. I won't go there at the moment. You will also have a link to Project Navigator, which is the tool for project developers specifically, if you like to use it. And here you will always see the most recent projects added in the marketplace. So just recently we had a developer having a hydropower bundle registering in Congo, for example. So we will see their entry here. If you want to register, you go here, you see the new user tab, you click on it, and it will open a registration form. So you start just by entering your entity name, and then you select what type of organization you are. If you are a project owner or developer, you click this. If you are also an investor or only an investor, you click that. Financing entity type. You can select multiple types. If you are, for example, a project developer and an investor, you click both of these. But let's now assume we are only project owners. So here you just select in more detail what kind of project owner you are. Let's assume we are a private project developer. We click here. Then you create a username for yourself, and then you enter your email address. And then you just have to agree to terms and conditions, and you enter the more detailed registration form. So the system will open you a registration form according what you have selected here. So now that we selected project owner form or type, it will open us a project owner registration form, and we will see it here. If we are also selecting financing entity, we will see also some other things asked from us. But let's now only enter as project owners, as we assume that most of you are project developers actually. So we asked of the entity, then optional fields, turnover if you want to enter, number of employees, also optional information. Then as mandatory information, we require you to enter your passport copy, just to make sure that the people we deal with are real and really exist. And then we also require you to upload a business license or other identification document of your organization. So I have just placeholders here to use in this demo now. So without uploading these, you are not able to enter the marketplace. Then you have to enter some organization level contact information, mainly phone, street address, city, and the country of domicile. This country of domicile you can either select from a list, or you can just start typing your country here. And let's say we are from United Arab Emirates, and it will propose the country for you when you start typing. Then for our use, administrative use, we require you to enter at least one contact person. You can enter more, but at least one. So we really require you to have someone that we can just contact if we have any issues to deal with you. So there are again some required fields that you just have to enter. I will not fill in other fields like this. And then if you like to let other users see your personal contact information, you can leave it like this. If you don't want to be seen as an individual person, you can hide this by clicking here and only see, then the users will only see this organization level information, not contact person level contact information. Then we require like 250, 500 words, half page, 1 page description of your entity here, which will also mandatory. It's a mandatory field and visible to all users. And by the way, we always have like help boxes next to almost each data field we have here to help you to fill in all this information. And finally, if you like, you can add some facilitation needs if you want to indicate to IRENA. So these facilitation needs will not be visible to other users, but will only be visible to IRENA. And it's also mentioned here in the help box next to the field. And if you want to add any brochures, anything, you can upload them here. Now I think we have filled in all the mandatory fields, and we can save your organization, your entity profile. It's not done yet. So now that you are registering as project owner, you have to fill in and add at least one project. So you will show a project tab here. If you also enter as investor, you would see also financing instrument tab here next to it. And in order to enter and submit for approval here, you first have to enter at least one project as a project owner entity. So let me now show how this works. Test project. let's say it's in Kenya, we can just start typing it, or then we go to the drop-down list and select it from here. And then let's say we have wind power project. Again, we can just start typing and then select the correct alternative, or then again we can select it from here, from the drop-down list. It's 10 megawatts of capacity, megawatts of electricity. It's 15 million US dollars, 30,000 megawatt hours of electricity. So depending on the project type, the units may be something else, but this is power production, so we select this. If it's a cookstove project, you select a number of cookstoves here, but this is not. Grid connection, you select here. This is grid connected project. It can be something else also, as you can see. And the project ownership, now we have private, but it can be, for example, public-private partnership or public project as well. If your project has other outputs, you can add secondary power capacity and annual generation and respective units. But we only have a wind power project here now. Then you are this is the general information you have to put in. Then secondly, you have to put in some information on the stage of your project, like land acquisition. Let's assume that that's finalized, so we have land lease agreements, for example, signed already. Let's see, we have a permitting process in the final stage. Feasibility studies are, let's say, they are still in early stage. We have, and we always have here again more help boxes to help you to understand which of these alternatives to select here. Then agreements in process, let's say early stage again. Financing project has not been initiated, so it's still being planned, not really initiated yet. And as a total status of project, we consider this as a feasibility stage project. We have very fast implementation schedule, so we assume starting the construction in the beginning of next year and should be ready by the beginning of year after. Again, mandatory fields. Then you may or may not enter some financial indicators, optional fields. We understand that they may be a bit business sensitive information, so we encourage you to enter it, but you don't have to do it. Then perhaps the most burdensome section of the project profiles is the project summary. So we ask you to put in information in 6 different sections. First, project objective, describing, basically what is the project, who is the owner of the project, project structure, the main stakeholders, etc. So you have here some instructions what we are expecting you to write here. Then you have to describe the location of your project in more detail, the offtake arrangements or the sales arrangements of your output. You have to enter information on grid connection or distribution of your output. You have to enter information on your positive and negative socio-economic and environmental impacts, and also about the current situation. So we expect this 6-section project summary to be like 1 or 2 pages in total, so that the whole project profile would look like an online project teaser, as people often use in financial transactions, for example. So then you still can enter information on services currently sought. For example, if you are looking for financial advisory services, you can indicate it here. If you are in need of some other services, you can add, for example, legal advisory services and still more, like EPC contracting. And then, for example, these service providers can identify you easily, and they can then contact also you, not only you contacting them. Then you can indicate financing currently sought. For example, we are looking for construction stage financing, minority stake investor of $2 million for our project, so we can indicate it here. then we request you to enter your financing plan. So let's assume we had 50 million total investment here. So our financing plan would be like controlling stake equity, 3 million by ourselves. Then as we are looking for minority stake investment, 2 million, that would be 5 million equity in total, and then the rest 10 million would be in form of senior debt. So now we have indicated our financial structure here. And then if you have available financing, you can indicate it here. For example, now let's assume that we have by ourselves the current sponsor. 3 million euro equity available. And then you can add, again, project level facilitation needs, only visible to IRENA if you want to indicate something specific where you want IRENA to support you. Then finally, you need to locate your project on the map. You just select, we have our project in Kenya, you can zoom in order to really find your location in more detail. You can also select satellite view, so it will make it even easier for you to identify. Let's say that we have our project north of Barata here, so you just click here, I found my site, and then yeah, you can see that this is where my project is located. Now I believe I have entered all the required information. I will save my project profile. Okay. Okay, there was an error, typing error in this field, so it's indicating the problem here. So we just correct the typo and save it again. Now we have entered, so we can see our project profile here, as you can see. You can check that everything is okay, but you can see still your status. You have not yet submitted your project profile for approval, so you need to go back to your entity profile. So these are two different profiles. You have always entity profile and your project profile if you are a project developer. Now here you can see this tab, submit for approval. Now I have filled in everything. I will click it, and my profile, including the project profile, will be sent to IRENA. And now you see the button disappears. It means it has been submitted, and your status has been changed. Your request is pending approval by the administrator. So IRENA has just received an email saying that this test project, this test company has now applied for registration in the marketplace. Then we will go and check whether this entry is valid and enter that in the marketplace. So let's now log off and go back to the main page. I will show once IRENA has accepted your entry, you can access the marketplace by entering your email address or your username here, and then your password under it. So now I have created beforehand my own entity here, now Northern Power Company and Investment. So now you can see when you have granted access to the marketplace, you can access the search functions here. So you have lots of different search functionalities: general search, project search, financing instrument search, service providers, technology supplier, entity search, and finally country profiles here, as you can see. Anytime you can always go to your own user profile and start editing. If you want to update it, if you want to add projects, etc., you go to your user profile, you can manage it here. But let's just look quickly run through the search functions. So for example, projects, we currently have 13, and we'll have more week after week now. It was made public less than 3 weeks ago. This is the project list, what you can see when you enter. You can either just, or an investor, for example, interested in biogas projects can just enter the text here and see the biogas project in the pipeline in the project portfolio here. Or, for example, only want to see projects in Angola. Well, we have a couple. All right. Then you can just clear all this, and you can use more specific filters like project technologies according to technologies, according to countries. You can search according to project status, according project ownership, grid connection, organization name, and also you can search, projects that are going to be implemented sooner or later by limiting them according to the timing of the project. And then you have also size parameters. For example, we can see that 7 of the projects here are between 10 and 20 million US dollars, and then 2 projects between 1 and 10. So you can limit search results according to the size parameters as well. And then, for example, investors, anyone looking for projects, they can either export the results to Excel, or they can save this as alert. So whenever anything matching with the search I have created here, for example, looking for biogas projects, whenever biogas projects are entered to the marketplace, the system will send an email to this user if he or she has created an alert for this specific search. So now if I find something interesting, I can just click either on the project name or the project owner company name, and I can also select and list these in different orders. For example, I can select have only capacity order, or put them in order according to the investment size, etc. And then I will find this project in Zimbabwe is interesting. So this is what we see. So we see project description here. We see services they're requesting, their financing plan, etc. And we can go and see also the location in more detail. And if we want to contact the user, we'll just find the contact information in the system. In the same way, for example, project owners can find financiers according to their needs. Just entering here, if you're looking for equity investors, you can just, now we have like 24 instruments here. If we are interested in equity instruments, we just write equity and we will find like 12 instruments that can provide equity. Or then we can clear this and search using more specific search functions like, well, we can have search on minority stake equity investors, apply this search, and we will find 9 investors who are able to provide such funding. Let's see, for example, we have FinFund here from Finland, so we can click and see FinFund equity instruments. So we can then go and look one by one, see more information, where, in which countries, in which project types they can invest. Do they have any size parameters like we have here, and then some general description provided by that investor on their instrument. And if you are interested, you can still go and see, click here, the investor, the entity behind this instrument, and see more information on FinFund in this case. So now we will see information on FinFund, an investor, a development finance institution, and they have also uploaded a brochure here. You can check it in more detail if you like. And then you will see also all the financing instruments they have uploaded and registered in the marketplace. So they don't only provide equity, but also other types of investments or instruments. And you can then, for example, see what is their mezzanine financing instrument, and see in more detail how they invest in form of mezzanine. So in this way, when you have like hundreds of financing instruments, it will be easy for you to identify investment sources or sources of funding for your projects. Similar search functions we have for service providers, technology providers, entities. Also, before I will end, I would like to show you country search, which is different from the others. The other searches work in a very similar way, but country search is different. There we have a list of countries, only the countries now in Eastern and Southern Africa. In a few weeks, as I said, we will see all African countries. And wherever, for example, an investor or developer is looking for additional information, they can find it here. For example, let's look for more information on Kenya. All right. So we'll see a window to IRENA's databases, as I explained in the beginning of my presentation. So you will see here a window to IRENA's resource database. For example, what is the installed capacity of different renewable energy sources in Kenya at the moment, how it has developed during the past years. You can modify this view if you like. You can also see statistics on real projects, statistics from last year, what have been the real levelized cost of electricity on actual investments in Africa past year. If you want to have more information on resource, you can click here and access IRENA's resource database, and specifically its Kenya country profile. And here then you will find a lot and lots more information on Kenya. Then, as I mentioned, we have Global Atlas. I think this is really interesting. We can open the map on Kenya. And this is the multi-layer map. For example, if you want to see where you have a good solar resource in Kenya, then you can just simply go and select here solar maps. We have different alternatives. Let's use this, for example. So you will see a solar resource map in Kenya. So here you see what different colors mean, the radiation in different parts of the country. And here you can see in more detail where you have the good locations for solar power projects in the country. And as you can see, we have also activated here you have existing power plants, existing power grids in the country, which you can then select here. Or actually here, infrastructure. If you don't want to see the power plants in Kenya, you just hide them. Or if you don't want to see transmission lines, you just hide them. So you can basically select all kinds of information you want to see on the map. And it's very useful for project developers in identifying maps, or as let's say second opinion for investors looking for, you know, project information submitted by project owners and willing to find a second opinion on the information submitted by the project developers. And then finally, we have this policies and measures database. It will direct us directly to Kenya page of this policies database, and here we will see all the relevant valid laws and regulations for renewable energy in Kenya at the moment. And also we can see some other statistics on Kenya here as well if we like. So very useful database if you want to use this as well. So a very nice tailored country profile for each African country available through this marketplace. And here then finally you will always see the list of projects registered in the marketplace in that specific country. So here you will have like summarized all the information in Kenya, or alternatively in any other country in Africa, like South Africa and others. So this is basically the brief walkthrough of the marketplace. I thank you for following this demo. I really hope that after the webinar you will go to this website, see how it works, and whether you are a project developer, investor, service or technology provider, you seriously consider to register. It will take like half an hour For project developers, 45 minutes at the maximum, and for other like investors, service providers, it will take much less. It won't be very difficult for you to do that. So that's for my part. I thank you for your attention. I will now, in the end, hand over to Alberto Bernardini, who has been collecting the big number of questions we have received during this webinar, and he will address some of them, and we will come back to all the questions and answers after the webinar. But let me now have Alberto back and perhaps provide answers to some of the most popular questions, so to say. So.
All right, thank you again to our speakers for your excellent presentations. So now I will answer some of your questions that I've been collecting. So the first very quick question, is this presentation, can it be available to you after this webinar? Yes, of course, we can send you the presentation. And also, as I've said before, it will be available online, either on the IRL website or on YouTube. So another question that we have is, how will you deal with IP, intellectual property, and confidentiality of information? So at the moment of registration, the users will have some level of control, which information will be confidential, which will be public, as you have seen. Confidential information will be available to IRENA only and will not be disseminated. The registration form also provides some flexibility, as you can see, for project owners, as some part of the information is optional. So the project owner may decide to not enter some of the information asked. And then there is a terms and condition agreement in place between the users and IRENA. How will we decide who has access to the platform? That's another question. The marketplace is inclusive at this point. This means all eligible entities will have access, assuming they're either project owners, financiers, service providers, or technology suppliers in the region. You can be also an individual user as long as you have something to provide to the marketplace, as all stakeholders will be contacting you according to which type of user you have registered. The information IRENA requests needs to be filled, and IRENA will also request documents from you proving the existence of your legal identity, as we have shown. Will there be any cost for the subscription? No. As you can see, you can start registering right away. The platform is free of charge, and we will be not asking any fee. Will this marketplace be available elsewhere? Yes. In a few weeks, this marketplace will be available to the rest of the African continent, to Latin America and the Caribbean. And by next year, we will try to make it available. We will make it available for the Southeast Asia. Let's see what other questions we have. I think Alexi has answers to other 3 questions.
Yeah, thanks Alberto for collecting some of the several questions actually we have had. Thanks for your activity, by the way. So just before I will conclude and end this webinar, I'm seeing 3 additional questions, which are, I think, good questions, which I would like to address before ending. There is a question that many of the projects seem to be quite large in the marketplace, and is there can also smaller project enter the marketplace? The answer is yes, definitely. Actually, there is no size limit for projects. So huge projects can register, but also tiny projects can register. Actually, the smallest project at the moment registered is $250,000 US. So I would consider that quite small already. So if you have a project below $1 million US, don't hesitate to enter the marketplace. There will be a place for you as well. And in fact, we are negotiating also with partners who in the field of facilitation, which I described to you earlier. and one of our aims is really to be able to provide facilitation for small-scale projects as well. So we are going to partner with some initiatives who are really specialized in supporting small-scale projects, because especially in Africa we see that as a very important project type actually. So please go and register also your small-scale projects, even below $1 million. Secondly, Cameroon is not in the project, the country list. That's correct. As I mentioned, it's now available for Eastern and Southern African countries only, but and therefore Cameroon is not in the list. But if you visit the marketplace in the end of November again, you will see all African countries visible in the list. So by the end of November, any project developer anywhere in Africa will be able to register. And as Alberto told, also in Latin America and Caribbean, by the way. And then finally, one thing, whether only energy access projects can register or also projects connecting the grids. I think this is also important to know. This is very inclusive marketplace, so any kind of project, irrespective of whether it's grid connected, whether it's mini grid, off grid, standalone, whatever, whether it's distributed energy, household level, investment program, so all types will have their point of entry in the marketplace. You will find a place, project type to choose in the drop-down lists, so don't hesitate to go there. And there was also a question about Central America. Yes, Central America will also be part of the marketplace by the end of November. So at the same time when we will have Latin America and Caribbean, so Central America will also be part of it. Okay, now I think we have covered lots of questions. We still have some yeah, we have lots of questions unanswered, and we will cover them in a PDF file to be sent to you after the webinar later this week. And just before I will close this webinar, I will remind you that that when we end the webinar, you will see a very short poll, and we really would like you to answer that very brief poll to indicate whether you found this webinar useful for you. And I guess that's it. So with these words and without any further explanation, I thank you all for your time, for your attention, for your big number of questions, and me and my colleagues, and I believe also Wim, will look forward to seeing you in the marketplace very soon. Thank you for joining us today, and have a good rest of the day. Bye-bye.